Welcome back to South Jersey Life. I'm your host, Wayne Wesley. And listen, I just appreciate, getting a chance to do this again, South Jersey Life. Um, we get to talk about politics, that's one of my favorite things. Sports, politics. So today, this afternoon, talk a little politics, okay, whenever you're watching it. And it's been a lot going on since the last time I was here. A lot going on, but feeling very blessed. Very blessed. Life is short. You gotta take advantage of it, and I appreciate every moment. You know that I'm here with the family, friends, co-workers. And just enjoy life to the fullest. It's short. You don't know how long you got to live, so you gotta live it to the fullest. So, but for right now, we're going to talk a little politics. Politics as usual, as JER-Z would say. A lot's been going on. And I think we did a video, me and LaVon did a video about a year ago, and it was about Joe Biden. And at the time, I know that Joe Biden has his deficiencies. And the older that he would get, or the more the days come along, he's getting older day by day. He struggles, and you can see it. But in my mind, because I'm a Democrat with a capital D, as long as he can do well in the State of the Union, which he did, when he got to the debate with Donald J. Trump, right? I said, listen, all Biden has to do is do what he did at the State of the Union. And this race is his. And I understand, I have a lot of people, he's falling down, getting off the plane. He can barely hold a sentence. I get all of this, okay? He's older and, age is just a number, but we can see that physically and mentally his decline. But the point is, he has a good team around him. And that was always my think with Joe Biden. Joe Biden put a great team around him, like Kamala Harris. And his advisors, they're doing a good job of running the country, and this is my perspective. I'm not a Republican. The whole world is falling down, is burning down around us. That's not the case. Prices are up, but the reason why prices is up, inflation, is because you put so much money into the economy to get out of the last year, which when we talk about Donald Trump, and you say, well, Donald Trump economy was so great, but no one says what type of economy did he inherit? He inherited Barack Obama's economy. And for the first 2.5 years, he had it going great. But he inherited Barack Obama's economy. And then when the first major crisis goes his way, he screws it up. And we're losing hundreds of thousands of jobs, hundreds of thousands of lives. And we hear about, how great it was 4 years ago. Well, 4 years ago, you could barely get toilet paper. 4 years ago, you could barely come out your house. So I don't understand this, how great it was under Donald Trump, 4 years ago. And then when Biden and Kamala Harris have to come onto the scene, basically they have to clean up. the mess that they was left by Donald Trump. Now I'm from Atlantic City, as you can see in the backdrop. You got Harris Casino in the backdrop, but Trump has always had casinos in Atlantic City. Trump Marina, Trump Castle, Trump Plaza, Trump Taj Mahal. But every single casino files for bankruptcy. So what are we talking about? I mean, Trump is great at starting something, but eventually it's going to get bankrupt, and that's exactly what he did with the country. $8 trillion debt that no one talks about, especially Republicans, and he'll make it look great. Glitz and glamour. That's what Trump does, but it has not a steady foundation, and it will collapse. And that's exactly what the United States did in his last year of office. But back to Biden. When Biden was, looking like, an 81-year-old man that's, doesn't have that same step that he had, I thought he could overcome everything. All he got to do is, when you're at the debate, see Donald Trump. I can't stand Donald Trump. Let's go. And when he could barely get any words out, and Donald Trump sat on that stage next to him and lied and lied and lied, and he couldn't rebuttal the lies that was coming his way, that's the first time I said, you know what? There got to be a change. It has to be a change. And, I was on vacation a couple of months ago, maybe about a month and a half ago. I was on vacation, and I was down in Florida. My cousin passed away. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Noki. And I spent a lot of time with the family, and a lot of time with my family in Georgia, right? And shout outs to Marco Clarence. But we was basically having a debate of who's going to, if Biden can't do it, who can do it, right? Who can do it? And my thing is, Kamala had to step up. And the reason why Kamala had to step up is because, first and foremost, money make the world go round. And when Biden is holding, at the time, maybe like $96 million in his of a war chest, the only person that has access to that money is Kamala Harris. So in my mind, no matter what candidate that you try to get, they can't touch the money. Only Kamala Harris has access to that money, first and foremost. Second, the enthusiasm gap that's lacking from younger voters, okay? It just wasn't there with Biden. And I get it, and I understand he's older. The younger folks are not gravitating towards him, and I get that. But you need someone that can pull young votes, that can pull different sections, different races, different ethnicities. Everybody got to be in the same boat together if the Democrats are going to win this election over Donald Trump. Okay, so the only person that could be running right now is Kamala Harris. But I'm a political guy. I like politics. To me, the best person to beat Donald Trump would have been Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. We're next door to Pennsylvania. We see what he does. He's very charismatic. He knows his policy. He's just, to me, he is that guy. And hopefully in 2032, he'll get a chance to show that he can be the president of the United States. But at this time and point right now, he doesn't have access to the money. Kamala Harris is your logical choice to be the nominee for president of the United States. And but you know what? So when she gets the call and Biden actually drops out of the race, what has happened in the past month has surpassed my expectations. I knew that people would be more excited. I knew that people would say, you know what? All right, we're ready to go. We are fired up and we are ready to go. But I did not know that the money being raised, the people registering to vote, people coming out saying, you know what, we're going to whatever we can do to help you win the presidency, we're going to do. Volunteers, my wife and I, we have never donated to a political campaign before. And she's up here looking at the website. Yeah, we donating. All right, I guess we're going to donate then. So this has just been a phenomenon for the past month and a week. But you're going against Donald J. Trump. And Donald J. Trump does not play fair. We know it. Got my Broncos cup. Shout out to the Broncos. He does not play fair, right? And this is going to be a dogfight. So the fact of the matter is, when Kamala comes down, or she comes back from being 6, 7, 8 points down, because no one knows her. And basically she has to take up for the Biden administration record. But for her to close that gap in polling and now have a lead in Georgia, and this Fox News polls, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, what's the other battleground state? She's 1 point down, Fox News, in North Carolina. It looks good for right now, but this is politics. And as we know in politics, one wrong move, and that could be your whole political campaign, right? So that's the current state of the race, and that's a little bit on how we got there. Joe finally realized, and I said, I give Joe Biden all the credit in the world, because I understand that the economy prices are high, and I get that. But inflation is not just due to what they've done. Inflation is primarily up for the simple fact that Trump got us in this position where he couldn't handle the crisis. He put a lot of money into the economy. And once you put all this money into the economy, prices are going to go up. It's just natural. All these people, Trump was so good. We got stimulus checks. Well, when you get those stimulus checks, everybody got to pay for it. It's called inflation, right? Those PPE loans that people deserve to get, and some people lied and cheated to get. That money get paid back by everybody. It's called inflation, right? It's called inflation. So when people talk about how great Donald Trump was, I got to bring up the fact. It was him that got us into this mess. And Biden and Kamala Harris' job was to get us out of this mess. So when inflation rises up to, what was it, 9% inflation rate 3 years ago, you got to put all this money back into the economy to make sure people have jobs, to make sure that the supply chain is going the proper way, so we can have food on the shelves. Because I do remember when you couldn't. So it's just the lapse in memory of 2020 is just crazy to me. No one remembers how bad it was. It's just crazy to me. injecting yourself with bleach to get rid of COVID, and people forget this. I, hey, but Kamala is running, and she has to defend the record, and she's going to have to do a hell of a job to defend this record, because of the fact is she's running against Donald J. Trump, who will lie, and lie. He will flip-flop every day. So it's going to be a tough fight. So no matter if she's in the lead or not, the campaign is right. You have to think like you're the underdog, because that's the only way that you're going to defeat Donald J. Trump, right? And over, the past couple of weeks, everybody's saying you need to do an interview. And she does need to do interviews. But when you're winning, or when you're moving successfully and everything's running smooth, you don't break up the momentum. So they want her to do an interview. Finally, she sat down with Dana Bash of CNN. She did the interview with her vice president, Tim Walz. And let's just say this. The interview, to me, was a B-. Okay? Do no harm. Do no harm in politics. If Donald Trump's going to tweet, "Oh, this is boring," that's good. Do no harm. But when you are doing an interview, and this is tips for her to win. This is your first interview, I get it. But when you're running as president, right, you got to be more confident. You have to be more confident. So when Kamala's looking down, a little nervous, the first answer was more of professorial. You can't talk like your Maya Angelou. You can't talk like you're a poet. You have to talk like I'm the commander in chief. So the second time when Dana Bash asked her, basically what you're going to do on day one. Okay, well, $25,000 for down payment for new homeowners. $6,000 tax credits. Right? That's how you're going to have to talk if you want to be president of the United States. When you're at the DNC, when you're giving speech and rallies, you can be more, uplifting. You can be more about joy. But people that are on the fence, that are undecided, they want to know, right? They want to know, what are you going to do when you are the president? For them financially, and let's say, and financially, because the presidential race is all about economics. If you can deal with economics, you're going to win the election. And you have to prove that you have an economic plan that's going to make the United States better. And I believe that her and Joe Biden's plan has been working, because inflation has come down to 2.5%. Okay? Prices have not gone down, and we get that. But her and her team better find a way to explain this a little bit better than what they have been doing so far. Because if this was the case, next time you see these polls, she should have a 5-point lead in these swing battleground states. But you're going to have to go on offensive and tell the people, how are you going to get the economy running the way that they think it should go? And explain what have you done so far in a way that is more coherent than what has been said already. And this interview was okay. But you got to do better. You got to do better, because you're going against Donald J. Trump. And even if you win the election, in his mind, You have not won the election because it will be contested. That's why you're going to have to blow Donald Trump out. You got to blow him out. You have to make it so decisive that no one will believe that Donald Trump won that election, because that's what he's going to say no matter what happens, that he won the election. Okay, so talk about the economy a lot better. And to do that, you got to get more interviews. My wife's been telling me, well, why she's not giving interviews? She should be doing this. She should be doing that. Why is she afraid to talk? I understand. Do no harm. If everything is running smooth, you keep it going. But now it is the time to get on the offensive. It is now the time to get on the offensive and do what you got to do. You have to talk about the economy. Talk about how you're going to make people's lives better. Tell them exactly what you have done so far and what you will do for the future. Because Donald J. Trump will lie about everything. When it comes to his abortion stand, where does he stand on abortion? On Friday, he said, but he's not going to vote. He was going to vote for the measurement down in Florida. A few hours later, I'm not going to vote for the measurement down in Florida. It makes no sense. And when you go on stage, when Donald Trump goes on stage and says, IVF, the government is going to pay for it. Does he know exactly how much the government is going to pay? Right? The treatments, how much it costs. The government's going to pay for it. And we're going to mandate that right, that the insurance companies cover it if the government doesn't pay for it. That's a Republican saying this. Republicans talking about having insurance companies have a mandate. Seriously? Donald Trump will say anything. He will say anything. And he doesn't have to back it up because he's Donald Trump. When you lie so much, it doesn't matter. He knows what he's doing. That's why you gotta do what you have to do, Kamala and Tim Walz. Keep on talking. Get these independents. Get these Republicans that can't stand Trump, because I know a lot of these Republicans can't stand Trump, and they may tell him in his face, we're voting for you, and behind his back, when they get in that poll booth, they're not voting for Donald Trump. They want the era of Donald Trump to end. They want the Republican Party to come back to where it was when George W. Bush was the president. They want the Ronald Reagan conservative Republican Party back. They're tired of Donald Trump. So, Kamala, it's up to you. You're going to have to talk the economy and get these people mobilized, enthusiastic, engaged, and ready to vote. And I believe that she's doing a great job so far. But there are still a lot of stuff that you're going to have to do. You got to be more centrist when you're talking about the women's rights. And women are already motivated, but you're going to have to go after black men, because a lot of black men are still skeptical. You got to go after them. You got to go against older white men. They're still skeptical, right? You still got a lot of women. I don't think a woman's strong enough. It's crazy, but I don't think a woman's strong enough to be the president of the United States. You have to prove this every single day, that you are built for tough and you're ready to be the president of the United States. And you're going to have to command the crowd. So all the little nervousness that I seen, which I understand, but I don't understand, with the interview with Dana, you got to get rid of that. Okay? When that debate comes, September the 10th, you got to be ready to crush Donald Trump. And we know what your weakness is. You're a prosecutor. You're on the offense. You're good on offense. But once somebody hits you with a question, you smile, you push the hair back, and you're lost. Don't do that. Practice, practice, practice. Practice on your weakness. When you're on defense, look what Pete Buttigieg does. He's right there with you. When Pete Buttigieg gets hit with a question, what does he do? He turns it right back around and goes right back on offense. And this is what you're going to have to do September the 10th. But my suggestion to you is do more interviews and more interviews and more interviews. Get practice, because the more interviews that you do, the less people are going to sit there and critique the interviews. So then you can get away with the nonsense like Donald Trump gets away with, the nonsense that J.D. Vance gets away with, because he's doing an interview 15 times a day. There's so much going out there, you don't know what to bog them down on. So that's what you're going to need to do after this debate, but preferably before the debate. That's what you need to start doing. These is just, a little bit of suggestions that I have for the president, the future president of the United States, the current vice president of the United States, because I'm not trying to see another 4 years of Donald Trump. A lot of us are not trying to see another 4 years of Donald Trump. Okay, we're not trying to see that. And they say, well, no, life was so much greater. No, it wasn't. Don't be fooled. Don't be hoodwinked. Don't be bamboozled, led astray, run amok. Okay, 4 years ago, 2020, it was not a great year. It was not a great year. Okay, so and as your campaign needs to keep tapping on that. Keep tapping on the record that Donald Trump left you guys with. The job losses, people dying from COVID, the supply chains. Keep tapping on that. And you guys should and will win. Okay? But keep on offense. And I'm gonna make this short. This is not a long rant. Well, maybe so to some people. People have short attention spans, but just wanted to talk a little bit about politics. I haven't been on here for a while, so next time I'll probably have the crew with me. So shout outs to Levon, Heidi, Heather, Patrick, my partner in crime, Victoro. We're going to get this popping and try to do this more often. When you got work, when you have a 9-to-5 job, you have kids, you have a lot of stuff going on. So, but yeah, this is my chance to just get stuff off my mind. And if one person watches, if 1,000 people watch, hopefully, if 1 million people watch, hopefully. But if one person watches, I'm good with that. Just sharing my views. So I appreciate everyone listening. Everybody have a blessed night, blessed evening, blessed day. And we will be seeing you guys soon back on South Jersey Life. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll be talking to you soon.